is soccer going to overtake the NFL by 2026? All right, I can't even start with that intro because, like, what? All right, welcome in, guys. I'm Jake ELLENBOGEN. Today we're going to be talking about the crazy prediction, or whatever you want to call it, over on FS1. As you guys probably know, the World Cup is coming to the United States in 2026, and now we have all sorts of soccer analysts who've never really been in the country before are claiming that the United States now are going to be invaded by soccer by 2026. NFL will take care of them. I'm going to show you that video now.
By 2026, soccer or football will be the #1 sport in this part of the world.
No doubt.
I signed for that.
Okay.
Well, we'll see about that one. We'll see if you're right. We got some friends called the NFL around the corner that might have a say about that. But we'll put up a good fight.
We'll talk to them.
We'll put up a good fight.
We'll take care of them.
I always say,
As you can see, what the hell is this person thinking? I am not going to sit here and make a Comedy Central skit about this, but what? All right. I understand you guys are probably like, this is a different video, and I want to actually hear what you have to say. You normally are informative, all that. Well, this is exactly it. So I made this chart here on Arty with my augmented reality, and this is what I have to say. Okay? The NFL, the average NFL game, generates 17.1 million viewers, okay? The top soccer league that gets views in the United States is not the MLS, which is literally based in the United States. No, it is the Champions League, and that gets 2.7. If you didn't know, and if you're sitting there as a soccer fan saying, well, what about the World Cup? Congrats. The World Cup just gets about the same amount as an NFL regular season game. There was 99 million views with the Super Bowl this year in the United States. So here's what I'm going to say. The NFL isn't going anywhere. Okay, I figured I would cover this because I cover 2 NFL teams on this channel, and I do cover sports and all of that. The NFL's not going anywhere. Okay, so this idea that soccer's going to overtake it is absolutely ridiculous. Americans love their football. If you want to say that baseball's falling off, well, the numbers do show that baseball's falling off. But if you're going to say soccer, which can't even sustain 300,000 viewers per match, you know, the United States League, the MLS, then I'm sorry, you don't have an argument. And this guy, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but dude, he's so delusional. I mean, it's one of the most delusional videos. I honestly started laughing. I think it's hilarious. I don't know why soccer fans out there they're so obsessed with changing the way we talk about football. We should just call it throw ball, because, I mean, football is actually what you call soccer. And then immediately they're also like, oh, well, you know, soccer's eventually going to take over when the Americans understand. And I'm like, look, soccer isn't taking over. It's a different thing here, okay? We love American football, and American football is going to grow in other countries. It will never overtake soccer. It's the most popular sport in all of the world. But here in the western part of the world, we are not into soccer the way we are into very physical football, okay? So that is not changing. You want more proof? Guess what? The USFL, this brand new league that started this year. Obviously, I know the older league with Donald Trump, but I'm talking about the league right now. The league that started this year, the first ever USFL game, guess what it generated? 3 million viewers. The first ever. That's more than any, if you average all of the Champions League games in the United States, the viewership, that's more than their viewership. And the USFL did better with 1 year. Okay, so now let's get into it deeper, right? Because it's not just about the NFL, right? You can see in this, you know, diagram here I've had for you, the NBA is starting to come on strong. They're now at 3 million. They've passed the Champions League. College football, this is one of those things. 1.8 million on average. But guess what college football does? They have a little thing called the College Football Playoff, which generates about more than anything else except for really the Super Bowl and March Madness. And sometimes it does better than March Madness. However, we move on to college basketball, which is 1.2 million. And this, again, is per game. This is the average per game. And so college basketball, yeah, that's not as much as the Champions League, but now all of a sudden college basketball has March Madness, which everybody is glued to the TV during. I'm not going to say that people aren't glued to the TV during World Cup. It's not for me. I'm not going to say that people aren't. I know people are into the World Cup, but it is not on the level of the NFL. If your Super Bowl, if you will, of your sport is getting as much as a week 2 NFL game between the Texans and Browns, I'm sorry, but that is not giving me any reason to believe that you're going to overtake and become the number 1 sport. It's just not. Baseball's 1.1 million. All right. They're going to add a pitch clock at some point. I think it's next year. They're going to start getting rid of the shift and things like that. So maybe slowly but surely that number goes back up. They were dealing with, of course, that half year where they only played like 50 games in 2020. So there is going to be a little bit of a build back from that COVID year. However, one thing I have to point out is that the MLS has deals. The MLS is actually not doing bad as far as attendance. That's not the biggest issue with the MLS. The MLS is going to get surpassed by the Premier League Lacrosse, Premier Lacrosse League, if you will. Have you ever heard of the Major League Lacrosse? They have actually combined in the merger. Now they're the Premier Lacrosse League. And if that's a mouthful for you, no worries, because with this, they are averaging 333,000 viewers per match. I don't even see that on TV, and it's still doing better than the MLS, which I do see on TV. I see on the Yes Network. I see on all sorts of sports channels and all that. But now, hear me out when I say this. And this is not a pro lacrosse channel by any stretch, but I am very curious because lacrosse now is going to have a platform. ESPN and the Premier Lacrosse League agreed to a deal earlier in 2022, this year, and that is going to be televised now. So you would have to imagine those numbers of 333,000 per game. Those viewers are going to go up because now it's going to be on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, right? So now the WNBA is at 413,000. Fun fact, the WNBA draft is actually watched more than the games. Not a knock. I just think it's actually pretty incredible. And the women's college basketball is unfairly not on here, and here's why. Women's college basketball actually generates a pretty good percentage of viewership during their March Madness season, during their college basketball, playoff, if you will. But I couldn't find any average on just the average one game viewership rating, so I don't have that on here. Premier League Soccer, I'm sure some of you watch that, 507,000 viewers per match. So if you really think about it, you're getting a little bit over 3 million when you combine the Premier League and the Champions League. I know there are other leagues out there, but these are the 3 that I wanted to highlight. And then you have MLS, which isn't even getting 300,000. So let's just say it is 3.6 million, right? So now you have 3.6 million. You've surpassed the NBA regular season with both of those soccer leagues. But now all of a sudden, despite all of this growth in soccer, apparently in the United States, I can tell you that the Premier Lacrosse League is literally, they have 333,000 viewers per match, and they are going to be adding ESPN. That deal is going to add more games to the nationwide viewership. And so this rating, they should surpass the WNBA at 413,000 per game. They could pass the NHL at 460,000 per game, but it's very interesting to put it out there. The NHL actually just finished their deal with NBC. They have their new deal with ESPN, which did extremely well. They saw about a 20% raise in viewership being on ESPN. Shocker there. That's really what they have been missing. NHL is almost at 500,000 now. You have the Premier League at 507,000. And so I think there's a chance that lacrosse could definitely pass both they already passed the MLS without even having any sort of, TV deals that you could really go and find. But on top of that, they have a chance to pass Premier League. And so if that's the case, then why are we talking about soccer here? And why are we talking about lacrosse that's generating all of this, they're generating all this viewership, and yet I can't even find them on, TV. I'm sure some of you out there probably watch lacrosse. I know that I have better access to the indoor lacrosse as I have the Albany Firewolves in my neck of the woods, But this is what I'm talking about. This is why this is ridiculous. Soccer is competing with lacrosse in the United States, not the NFL. So stop trying to stretch it. And if by some stretch, say you're right, say you're absolutely right, and that soccer is going to overtake the NFL, and it does overtake the NFL. Well, here's what I'll tell you right now. If it does happen, it's not happening, okay, by 2026. It's going to take a long time, and I still don't think it's going to happen. The excitement that people are getting out of the NFL, it's unlike anything else. Soccer, you have all sorts of games, right? NBA, you have 82. Baseball, you have 162. You have 82 in hockey, right? I don't know how many they play in lacrosse, so don't ask. But this is my point. The lack of games in the NFL makes every game so valuable. I just don't think the way the United States has this, the way this is a culture, the way everyone thinks is Sunday, whether it's church or football, after September, I'm sorry, Sunday is football day for me. The way everybody thinks about this, even if they don't follow, everybody watches the Super Bowl. It's like this idea that soccer's just going to rug pull the United States fans and just basically be like, nope, you watch us now, is just not relevant. It's not true, and it's just funny. So, you know, shout out to this guy, his beliefs or whatever. He's absolutely wrong. It's not going to happen. I had to make a video about it because I thought it was funny. But, you know, I don't make just videos just because I think they're funny. I like to actually throw context and actually throw stats, which he failed to do. You know, and I love the guy on FS1 that's like, yeah, you know, our friends over at the NFL, you know, they're not going to, and he's just like, oh, we'll take care of them. Like, all right, guy. All right. You don't live in the United States. It's clear. You don't know how things work here. That's fine. Whatever. I'm not like hating on you for being international, but you know, and I have a lot of international viewers on this channel, so some people might not like this, but I'm just being honest with you. It's nothing against soccer, although I really don't like the sport. Sorry, I just don't. I'm going to be honest. Unapologetically Jake over here, right? But it's the fact that this idea where, you know, soccer's going to take over in the it's not, okay? It can grow. It can absolutely grow, and there are other sports that have grown, and I wouldn't rule out hockey growing over the next few years now that they're on ESPN. I wouldn't rule out, like I said, lacrosse, what I just explained to you. But growth is completely different than competing. No one is competing with the NFL. Nobody. And that is not going to change. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, a little bit different from my other videos. Share this with somebody if they're telling you that, oh, see, like your soccer friend is telling you how you got to get into soccer because it's the new wave and it's taking over the United. It's not, okay? It's growing. Congrats. You know, they're starting to see, you know, increased, you know, at least before COVID, they were starting to see increased, you know, participation in buying tickets for MLS games and things like that. It's never going to compete with the NFL. Yeah, okay, I understand there's other leagues out there, and I understand if you combine everything, maybe it's different. I still don't think it's different. The NFL is going to eclipse 20 million per game. It's only going to keep growing. The NFL with social media, the NFL the way they just don't let seasons stop. Once the season's over, they don't stop the coverage, and it's basically the league that never sleeps. We've seen so many trades. We've seen unprecedented movement around the league. We don't normally see franchise quarterbacks move around like the way we have with Watson and Stafford and all. So that's the thing here, okay? That's the thing. The NFL just continues to grow. They went through that whole thing where they lost a bunch of fans or so-called fans or, you know, so-called lost. I'm sure they're all back after the whole, you know, national anthem thing or whatever. Yeah, again, NFL isn't going anywhere. There are people that are upset about that. They're still watching the NFL. You can't boycott the NFL because they're so big and they pull you in. You want to watch them. You want to watch your team. So again, that's all I have to say about this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care and enjoy your Friday. Later.